the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the globe, in the chat room, wherever you are around this, partially hot globe. I'm Michael Vera. This is Late Night in the Midlands, and this broadcast is coming at you live from, I'd like to say the depths of hell, but I think Iraq is holding that title right now. But live from Columbia, South Carolina, on the east coast of these United States, I do welcome you all. We've got a lot to talk about here in the early going, and so we should probably get started. I'll start out by telling you the website, latenightinthemidlands.com. Go on over, become a member, and be informed. Very important that you also inform others. And so a little saddened tonight, folks. Not by the heat's been horrible, it has, but Joshua is now back in his homestead with his mama. about a little over an hour away. So he's not in studio with me tonight, but he is still in the chat room. And, at some point I'll have to get back in the car and do a jailbreak for the poor boy. But anyways, hello, Josh. I know you're in the chat and you're listening, and we miss you over here, my friend. But it's good to see that you're still getting involved as best you can out there in the middle of nowhere, and I do mean the middle of nowhere. You go down near his neck of the woods, and there are chickens hitchhiking for a ride. So, anyways, folks, yeah, there is a lot to talk about. Saturday had a great show over on Dark Matter, and yeah, you heard it here, but it went pretty well over there. And you know what I noticed? I got to tell you what I noticed, because I usually don't do this, but I figured, I monitored, Josh and I, as a matter of fact, monitored Saturday the chat room for Late Night in the Midlands, and we also monitored the Twitter feed over there going through Dark Matter, because that's where the trolls like to hit. See, here's the deal, all right? It's hard for the trolls to get me over here because, we've got security in place for those kinds of things. So what they like to do is they wait till Saturday, and then they try to get me on the Twitter feed. Well, a couple, actually coast-to-coast trolls this time, folks. Yeah, coast-to-coast trolls coming in there. One guy kept saying, I'm going over to listen to Coast to Coast. I need my fix. And he comes back 5 minutes later, says it again. Comes back 10 minutes later, I finally told the guy, if you were really going to go over and listen to George Snorri, you'd already be there. The fact that you're still here trolling tells me something, But anyways, there was a couple hecklers, and here's the funny thing. One of them we actually won over at the end. At the end of the show, he had to admit that it was a great show and that he thinks that Dark Matter did a great job by bringing it on board. So even some of the people who want to be trolls get won over. And, what some don't understand when they first listen is the first half hour of this show is all mine. All right. It's about whatever I want to talk about in the first half hour. I've designed it that way. So this way I could get off my chest what I have to get off my chest. Then we bring the guest on for the next 2.5 hours, usually 2.5 hours. So, and sometimes these guys, they get anxious and they think that, it's just going to be Michael talking the whole show. I don't normally do that, although I could. I absolutely could, but I don't. So, and that's the way I do it. That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm not Snorri. I'm not Art Bell. I'm not any of these other guys. I don't do things their way. I do it my way. That's what makes my show, right? So, I'll say it again. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. I won't miss you, and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. And so now that I got that off my chest, I'll move to a little bit of news here. Gene drive. Scientists have sounded the alarm over supercharged GM organisms which could spread in the wild and cause environmental disasters. That's right. They're setting us up. I'm telling you, this planet, there's so much coming at us from so many different angles. It's unreal. A powerful new technique for generating supercharged genetically modified organisms that can spread rapidly in the wild has caused alarm among scientists who fear that it may be misused. Oh, gee, do you think? Accidentally or deliberately, and they say could cause a health emergency on environmental disasters. Of course it will. It already is. The development of so-called gene drive technology promises to revolutionize medicine and agriculture because it can, in theory, stop the spread of mosquito-borne illnesses. You know what else can stop the spread of mosquito-borne illnesses? Not genetically modifying the mosquitoes. That helps. Anyways, they say such as yellow fever, malaria, those types of things. It would also eliminate crop pest and invasion species such as rats and cane toads. However, scientists at the forefront of this development believe that in the wrong hands, gene drive technology poses a serious threat to environment and human health. Of course it does. Hasn't anybody seen the videos or the pictures of the rats that were eating the GMOs and the big tumors that they formed all over their bodies? All of them? Anybody? I'm telling you, keep drinking your diet sodas. You know who you are listening out there. Keep drinking your diet sodas and keep ingesting your GMOs. And I promise you, you'll have tumors within your body. It's guaranteed. Vaccine fraud. This one, it's a long one, so you're going to have to go check this out over on Late Night in the Midlands if you're interested. It says vaccine fraud. This came from Mike Adams of Natural News. He said, black abortions and prison slave labor, why black lives don't matter to the U.S. government and the CDC. Boy, and he makes an excellent case for it, too. So go check it out over on News and Discovery at latenightinthemidlands.com. Again, it's very lengthy, and I couldn't do it any justice with just a couple minutes. So you'll have to go check it out. Several links for sources. I mean, it's not just a bunch of gibberish. Let's see here. The Battle Above. It aired on April 26, 2015 and was rebroadcast on August 2nd, 2015. This was a David Martin, Andy Court producer. I think this was a show that they're talking about. But anyways, there's a general who had came out and started discussing about the Air Force so-called Space Command. They've got a Space Command. And that this Space Command is in charge of hundreds of even thousands of miles above Earth and deep inside highly secure command centers. They say you may be surprised as they were or what you would find out about the high-stakes game for control of space is played, said between China and the U.S. and probably ET too, folks. I wouldn't put it past them. Not trying to get crazy here. I'm just telling you. They say that an object straight out of Star Wars appears shooting a laser into the sky. This laser beam helps a high-powered telescope focus in on objects in space, so the Air Force can get a better look at the satellites of potential adversaries like China. And they say it's part of a complex and most secret battle for what the military considers the ultimate high ground. So they do have these space weapons. Here's the thing. They're talking about seeing things in space from the ground. I guarantee you that same technology is in space, and they're able to do that too. They could focus in on the peas on your plate. I promise you they could do that. So there's an excellent story there about the space weapons over on latenightinthemidlands.com. And it's funny, I was talking to Ira today, and we were discussing about this, how they're trying to throw Windows 10 on you. Now, how many of you have had that pop up about upgrading? I have, but I've ignored it. And now I'm glad I did, because I thought it was just some kind of spam thing. Apparently it's worse than that. This article is titled, Don't Spy on Me, How to Opt Out of Windows 10 and their intrusive defaults. And Ira and I were just talking about this. I asked him about it, and he told me that there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that violates your privacy. That's, talking NSA, 2000, man. That's what it is. The NSA 2000, right, in your computer. Windows 10 pre-installed settings are privacy intrusive by default, so changing those settings is just a matter of self-respect and also a message to Microsoft. But they say that the following release of Microsoft's new Windows 10 operating system, and has tons of tracking stuff, and Ira can explain it to you. Actually, he should probably do his own little article on this, because he seemed to know even more than this article does. But yeah, not good anyways. Long story short, Windows 10, not good at all. It collects data, including your names, your email addresses, shares it. You got set you up for all kinds of advertising, just like Google does now. I mean, if you go look for a sound card, next thing you know, you've got advertisements popping up everywhere on your computer about sound cards and about places that sell those things. All right, last but not least here, meteor hits Iran. A lot of talk here about this one. of course, the weekend came, so I hadn't really get a chance to talk about this one yet, so I'm going to do it now. They say that this meteorite that hit Iran had multiple impacts causing serious damage. They say the officials in Iran have confirmed that the meteor had hit somewhere in the northern part of the country, and it hit several different impacts around the country, causing some pretty serious damage from what I understand. I don't know if there was any kind of anybody died or how much injury there was. I don't see a report on that yet. Maybe it's come out by now. I don't know. They say that there are, however, reports of damage in multiple locations. And Ira, again, I have to give props where they're due. Ira came just a little while ago in the chat and said, we were talking in the chat before the show, which we do sometimes, about Iran and its 165-degree heat index heat that they're dealing with there. And Ira had mentioned, what a coincidence, on the same day that this impact comes. See, now I didn't put that one together yet, so thank you, Ira. But what could that mean? I wonder what that could mean. I'm really curious what's going on above our heads. I really, really am. You could pick on that whole Planet X theory as much as you want. You can pick on, space weapons and wars and pick on it all you want. But nobody has given me an explanation for why all of a sudden we are getting bombarded on this planet by debris, by meteors, by comets, by all these strange things happening. I mean, I've been on this planet. I haven't been here forever, but I've been here for the last almost 44 years. And these last 5 years have been more active than I ever remember. And I've talked even to my father, who's 85, and he tells me that he doesn't remember a time when it was more active like this. So that's going back quite a ways, folks. So what's going on? Is it all connected? I don't know for sure, but I'm going to tell you, I do know of people who may know a little more about this, certainly than I do. So we're getting them on. I'm going to have Bob Fletcher coming on the show with me again in the next couple weeks. He contacted me, thought it was urgent to speak to me about exactly what we're talking about now, the Earth being bombarded. And, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I want to see proof. I want evidence. And I'd only be a fool. I'd be an idiot, a moron, if I was going to ignore the things that are going on this planet right now with meteors and asteroids and earthquakes and all these things, these weathers. Yeah, okay, I know that weather modification is happening. I understand that. That has nothing to do with all the rocks that are also hitting the planet. I'm telling you, something really screwy is going on off this planet. I don't know what. Either that or something's in this planet. It's one or the other. Maybe it's just that time. It could be. Whatever it is, I think it'd be great if we knew about it, don't you? All right. Well, I'm going to take a break. Oh, and by the way, we're going to have, I don't know, I think we might start it this week. We may start it next week. Don't know when. But Dr. Rand is going to start joining me 10 minutes a week, just a simple, like in this news segment area of our show. Start joining me once a week with a 10-minute segment. Going to do updates on earthquakes, going to do updates on mass UFO sightings and that type of scenario here on the show. So it'll be less of me telling you about news and a little more on that day anyways of Dr. Rand giving you the scoop on what's going on around the globe and within it. So folks, let me take this break. I should tell you about the guest. I haven't done that yet, have I? Mary Petersen is joining us tonight. Folks, I don't know a lot about this, but I do know what we're talking about is walk-ins. And she's going to, that is Mary, is going to explain this, and she's had her own incident. Now, I've heard some people call this New Age. I don't know about that. What I do know is it's a little new to me, and it's something I've always wondered. I've asked paranormal guessed this question, that if somebody was having an out-of-body experience, if you're out of your body, could another soul come in and take over that body? I've always wondered that, and nobody's ever... Some told me no, but those are the same people who told me that animals don't have souls. So how far are you going with that information? So, all right, Mary Petersen coming up next. We're going to talk about walk-ins. And again, folks, as always, later on in the show, we'd love to hear from you. We would love to hear your stories. Maybe you have had a walk-in. Maybe you know somebody who has. Maybe you've got a good story anyways. Share it with us later on in the show. And as a matter of fact, something else too. It's all coming to my mind. See what the weekend does to me? I got a picture on the homepage of the website. It's in the picture slider. It's a picture of a sky. A listener had sent that in to me, and I love that, folks. Please keep sending your pictures. You know, if I know it's not, you know, if I could be at least partially certain it's not nonsense, I'll post it. Well, he sent me this picture, he or she, and it shows a very strange type of cloudy but not cloud type formation in the sky. I have no idea what it is, but I guess I'll put this one on Ira if he's still listening. What I'd like to do is give away another subscription tonight, because I like doing that. It's nice to give. I love giving. So I want to give away another subscription tonight, and I'm thinking maybe it can have something to do with that picture. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the best explanation will give callers a number or something, like, I don't know, your number 1, your number 2 caller, and maybe take about, I don't know, 4 or 5 calls on that, or maybe 2, I don't know, whoever calls in. And maybe something along the lines of whoever gives the best explanation for what that is, I don't know, we give you a 2-month subscription. But not yet. Later on in the show, and I'm going to give Ira a chance to think about it, because his wheels turn. He comes up with some good stuff. So we'll see if he comes up with something good. And if he does, we'll give away a subscription. I'm Michael Vera. This is Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few moments. Oh, and I want to also, see, it's coming to me again. I want to welcome our new radio affiliate, SHR Media. Welcome aboard, and thank you for welcoming us aboard here, the LNM Radio Network, and, well, Late Night in the Midlands especially. So we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell, here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. You've heard Dr. Leonard Horowitz and experts urge you to avoid deadly vaccinations and illegal operators selling stolen OxySilver and OxySilver copycats. You've heard experts tell you about suppression in alternative medicine and confusing propaganda in healthcare and the truth movement. Read Dr. Horowitz's book, Healing Celebrations, to learn how miracle healings can be made to happen through faith, prayer, and a pure diet. Get great immunity using vitamin C, D, and OxySilver, Liquid Dentist, GI Flora Pro, a top-shelf probiotic. Use Green Harvest as a great-tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight. And Zeolove, and natural clays for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from theCureShop.com. Including OxySilver, the world's most powerful silver hydrosol. Electro-energized to put risky injections, toxic antibiotics, and deadly drug pushers out of business. OxySilver is covalently bonded to water. Unlike any other silver product using the frequency of chlorophyll 528, what Dr. Horowitz explains is pure tone love, the universal healer. NASA originally developed covalently body silver hydrosols to keep astronauts healthy in space. Dr. Horowitz added the 528 frequency to NASA's formula and more more. OxySilver works 3 ways to electrocute dangerous germs better than anything, far better than all leading silver products, and without any risk. OxySilver oxygenates and resonates with 528 for faster healing. So help save lives, putting drug lords and criminals out of business, and keep the LNM network broadcasting. Register for our free cooperative at healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthyworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. Buy OxySilver, GI Flora Pro, Green Harvest, Zeolove, and Love Minerals at great discounts at CureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
The L&M Radio Network and Late Night in the Midlands depends on you, the listener. Without you, there would be no us. So help us continue to bring you the best guests with the best information, and subscribe today. Information on becoming an L&M subscriber can be found at the top of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Just click the About Subscriptions tab and become part of the family while helping the truth stay alive. And while you're at it, maybe subscriptions aren't for you. A one-time donation helps as well. Click that donate button on the right side of LateNightInTheMidlands.com and help us help you. The L&M Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com.
Become a late nighter without the late nights. And subscribe now to help Late Night in the Midlands bring you the best guests with the best information.
This is some dangerous, dangerous stuff. And you don't need some politician in a black, blue suit to tell you that aliens are real, or to tell you that UFOs are real, or to tell you that there used to be an atmosphere on the moon or Mars, because we have evidence of it, and we don't need them to tell us. And besides that, why would you want them to tell you? Because they've been lying to you your entire life.
At Late Night in the Midlands, host Michael Vera takes a much different approach than most hosts do in an attempt to figure out what is really going on in the world we perceive to live. The show is not always about being correct, selling products, or putting his name in lights. Michael is concerned with the truth and connecting the dots no matter who and where they lead. I'm Ryan Gable, host of The Secret Teachings, and I approach my show in the very same way. Sometimes you think that in order to be the best, you must appear the best, but the truth has no need for appearance and masking. It just is. Information is not negative. It is how you view it that determines the dimensional characteristics of either dual aspect of negativity or positivity. In less words, it's intention. Even if you disagree with what Michael discusses, we should be able to have an open discussion without de facto fallacies of ad hominem name-calling and ridicule, not predicated on fact or reason, but on ignorance, pettiness, self-absorption, narcissism, ego, and fear. Try as you might, but no amount of disinformation, propaganda, ridicule, name-calling, or trolling on the internet will change the truth. The truth is the truth, regardless if the masses accept it as is, or if it is accepted by only one person out of billions. It is no measure of health to be well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society. I'm Ryan Gable, host of The Secret Teachings, and you are listening to Late Night in the Midlands with host Michael Vera.
On the east coast of the United States, from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-317-2264. Or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID, Late Night in the Midlands.
All right, it is that easy. And speaking of devil woman, you know, I spent about the better part of 10 years in hell, and I know the devil woman personally. Oh yes, I do. I've seen the horns. I've seen the smoke come from the snuff, from the nose ring. I mean, I've been up close to the devil woman. I most certainly have seen her. I escaped though. I think the next season of that Paranormal Survivor, that might be the story they cover, that one. How I escaped Satan's bride. All right, I'll stop now. I'll stop because, that was so long ago and life is so good now. All right, so, folks, we got a good one here tonight, I think. And these are the shows that really, I love these shows because I don't know a whole lot about my guest. I really don't. I don't know a whole lot about... Well, I don't know a whole lot about walk-ins. I've not had anybody tell me about these before. I've had people ask about them. I've asked about it, but nobody's ever given the answers. I think tonight we've got a guest who at least plans on giving us the answers. Oh, and for you flat earth people, all right, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Because I do say we cover everything, and we do cover everything. And I personally do not believe that the earth is flat. But that's, I'm open to, if you want to try to convince me, I'm open to that. I'm not that ignorant, right? So we're going to have a guest come on sometime this month, and we will discuss this. And I'm going to listen, folks. Me personally, I'm not just, hey, I'm skeptical of anything until it's proven to me. You know me if you've been listening to this show. So, nothing new here, but, I've been getting a lot of emails about it. So, okay, we'll touch on it. But I just want to make it clear that I'm not the scientist saying this. All right. So let's get on with it here. I'm going to bring my guest on. And she is ready, and so am I. So here we go, folks, and we'll take your calls a little later. And Ira will be giving you the whole whatever contest it is that he comes up with for to win a free subscription. So here we go, and I've got Kepler in the background here talking to me. That is my little furball. Mary, welcome to Late Night in the Midlands. How are you? And we are live.
Hi, Michael. You can call me Marie.
Marie, okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I don't know exactly where to start. I guess with your background would probably be the best. And I'm all ears. I'm looking forward to hearing about this.
Okay. Hold on. I have some background noise. All right, there, just cut out now.
Okay.
Sure. So, I grew up in this body. I was known as, my name was Jamie, and that is a different soul than the one you're talking to right now. On January 20th of 2015, there was a very supernatural sort of experience where the soul that grew up in this body passed away, and I came in instead as an adult into a new body as opposed to coming in, as most people do, as a newborn or an infant. And with that experience, I had almost a complete memory wipe. I had the ability to recall some of what happened before that date, January 20th, but very little, and I didn't relate emotionally to any of those experiences. And I had to make all new friends. I had to find all new interests, and I had a total shift in my personality. And that's what we call, sort of in our community of others who've had similar experiences, we call that a walk-in soul, because we come in later in the lifetime instead of as a baby.
Okay, so now here's something that I've been asking guests for a long time, and I'm going to ask you now. So is it possible that, say, I can have either a near-death experience or a out-of-body experience and be out of my body, and another soul can actually come in and take over that body?
No.
Good.
It's an arrangement that's agreed upon, and it's relatively permanent. It's not as though you're being invaded by, say, a discarnate entity, which would have very bad, that would be a bad experience, a traumatic experience, whereas a walk-in, usually it ends up being a positive, like a renewal, a feeling of having reincarnated. It's like a positive experience, and it's more beneficial to that person's life and the life of the walk out, the person who leaves as well.
I see. So then, your case again. So you say that you came along late, and explain that just a little bit for me. I mean, how exactly does this happen again?
Okay, so let's say somebody has reached maybe the age of 20 years old or so, and they have a lot of suicidal feelings. They're unhappy with their life, and there's another soul who's sort of waiting on the other side to get to experience being a human. They want to be a human. And they have a sort of an advanced soul in that they don't really need to, they need to hit the ground running to get started right away in what they want to do. So instead of having the conditioning of, say, a family and growing up with parents who have many beliefs that may infringe upon who they are and their soul essence, they select a human on the earth who is suicidal or very ill and is not able to cope with what is going on in their lifetime, and they contact them and their guides, and they're chosen to switch out. Some call it a soul exchange.
Oh, okay, I see. So then, if say let's talk about Robin Williams. Okay, just for a moment, just off the top of my head, when you think of suicide, I think of him. How come, or could he have made a deal where he wouldn't have had to actually kill himself, but he could have traded places then?
It's possible, yes. I mean, I believe there are factors that make some humans better candidates for a walk-in, and others the body needs to go through a death experience because of the positive effects it may have on other people in that person's life. So they may benefit almost from going through the grief process of, say, Robin Williams. He may have affected a lot of people with his death. So that was determined by the universe, by the forces that are good, that it was more beneficial for him to go through a death process than to have a walk-in.
Okay, so now who's in charge of this? Like, if I wanted, and I'm not being funny, I'm really curious about this. If I wanted to, I don't know, make that deal, and I don't, but if I did, how would I go about that?
Okay, many people think that it's a contract that is made before you're born. So people choose their parents, people choose the region of the country that they want to incarnate to. Many people who have had near-death experiences or go under hypnosis recall meeting with a council or meeting with angels who help them pick the most fulfilling life experience. And I believe that it's those same good spiritual entities, archangels and ascended masters. I believe it is those type of entities who help the spirit decide whether they need to undergo a walk-in experience. And if it's determined to be beneficial, some do believe that you can facilitate your own soul exchange by putting that request out there. Hello, I feel that I've learned enough lessons here and I need to return to source now. But I think that I have a good setup in my life. I have a career and I have financial means and I have a healthy body. Is there someone else who wants to come inside? And most of the work for that would be done, say, in the dream state while you're asleep, those communications.
Now, how did you get to learning about this? Did you know anything about this before it actually, I guess, happened to you, right? Did it happen to you?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I was very studied in metaphysics, in astrology. I had read many, many books, like probably hundreds of books about spirituality. I had a spiritual awakening when I was about 20 years old, and from that age, I studied everything I could get my hands on. Abraham Hicks, Bashar on YouTube, he's a well-known channel. The Pleiadians channeled information from extraterrestrials, and I basically devoted all my life. I was very introverted at the time. I was very introverted and very intellectual, and I absorbed a ton of information about spirituality up until the age of 24, and then I had just turned 25 when I had this happen.
So then, I guess it'd be fair to say then, because I know this is the case with some out-of-body experiences, such as my own. I know I'm not afraid of death, so then I would have to assume you're not afraid of death then, because you know that there is this other side.
Yes, that's correct. I'm not afraid of death.
So what do you know what the other side consists of? What's going on over there or any of that?
I wouldn't say I know, because I do have a thin veil in that I can contact entities on the other side, and that's when I do say sessions with people. I can ask questions to their guides and my guides. But, the way you said it, I'm not sure I know what's going on over there all the time, because it's very important for me to be grounded and working on what I came here to do.
And what is it that you came here to do?
Well, I'm starting a healing business. Within a couple months of my walk-in, I became a Reiki master. And I also do light language readings. I'm becoming a light language practitioner. That's sort of an intuitive language where symbols are drawn, and they download blocks of information from the other side, and they communicate that in a symbolic form rather than needing to use words.
Interesting. Very interesting. So then who exactly are you? Then are you actually Mary, or are you, because the body's the same, right? But I guess it's the soul who makes that person who they are, right?
Definitely. Without a doubt, the soul lives separately from the body. I have a relationship with the body because the body has its own awareness. However, I am not the soul that grew up inside. I am Marie. That is the middle name of what the person who formerly lived in it. That was her middle name, and that I took on when I came in.
So then why? See, when I think of walk-ins, it kind of makes me think that like they're just able to walk in whenever they want, but there has to be an agreement then.
Yes, it's a common misconception. People often confuse it with possession or even direct voice channeling, where one allows some entity to speak through them, usually a positive entity, but you have to have boundaries and you have to know what's going on with you. I was very well educated when I started all this, and honestly, the typical person is not going to be able to distinguish what's happening to them, and they should really see a good healer or a spiritual coach in order to discern if they feel other entities are coming into them.
Because I was going to say, now, if I have to agree on it, then I would think that I'd know that something was going to be taking my place in this shell, right? But I guess if I don't know about it, then wouldn't that be possession?
Not if the soul actually leaves. Possession would be if your soul is inside and someone is also coming in with you and kind of pushing you out of the way and making you do things you don't want to do. In a soul exchange, you're not even in there. Someone's not making you do what you don't want to do. You left. You passed on, or you went to do work in other dimensions. So you're not there.
See, now, about almost a year ago, I had a close call. And so while I was out of it, I guess then it's possible that somebody else could have took over me, and I agreed on it, but I don't remember it now. I mean, would I remember it now?
I would have to know a little bit more about the situation. It doesn't sound like you had a walk-in. Could you tell me a little bit more about what happened? You were unconscious, or you had a memory lapse? What was it?
Well, no, and I don't think that because I still feel like I'm still me, so... But I had a heart attack almost a year ago, and they knocked me out to do a procedure that they had to do, and I'm just wondering if in something like that, if does it take something like that to transfer the souls?
Well, that's a good question. Some people do need some sort of traumatic event that happens to their body to help disconnect the soul from them and help the other soul come in, like a near-death experience. It didn't happen that way for my body, but it is common when you hear walk-in stories. They'll say, I was very sick, or I was in a hospital, or I just got very ill, or I had traumatic injury, and then the walk-in happened. I woke up and I was a different person. But it's not a necessity for it to be a dramatic event. It can happen very naturally as well.
I see. So, through all this process, you mentioned a good and evil forces. So, tell me a little bit about that. Like, what's going on? Where are these decisions being made? I mean, like, we've got accounts of ghosts. I mean, people who say that there's hauntings, and I've had experience with that myself. And then there's like spirits that come back to visit, and it just seems like there's, I don't know, are these different realms, different levels? What is all that?
Right. Well, like one thing that can happen is that entities who appear to be coming at you in a negative way, they're seeking assistance because they don't know where to go, and they may be attracted to someone's energy because they're like that person, or because that person has a very open aura, and they're seeking usually just to go back to the light. They're not really as powerful as we are incarnate in bodies, so they don't really, depending on your belief system, if you have a belief, I am very powerless and I can be harmed, then you may experience that because that will be for your highest good. However, if you have a belief, this entity just needs assistance, then you can find a way to help that entity and bring them to peace. And when you help others, you're assisting everyone because we're all connected.
So then, do you agree that we are all here for a lesson? I had a guest who came on, and really, it makes sense to me. He said, he or she, I forget now, but I remember what they said, and what they told me was that we have, before we come to Earth, we have already arranged before we came here, like exits, like exit doors where we could leave, like, so things will happen throughout our life where we have the option to leave if we want. And if we're not done with our class, I guess, then we come back or what have you. But if we've learned what we needed to learn on this, well, maybe that heart attack was one of them doors, and I could have just said, well, see ya.
Yeah. I agree that we make choices at different junctures in our lives. And I would also bring up the concept of parallel realities, because there may be in one parallel reality you did leave and you did pass away, and right now though the reality you're focused in, you're here and you chose to carry on the lifetime, but there are infinite possibilities of outcomes, and that's kind of a scientific specialty which I'm not as familiar with, but I have heard of that concept that we do live out every possibility and we're only kind of really focused in one.
So now, how many people are like you who have had these walk-ins? Now, I'm just, nowadays, and I'm not trying to be funny. I ask crazy questions sometimes, but everything seems like it could be hacked nowadays. So what's to say that some random haunting type spirit doesn't say, ooh, there's my opportunity, and jump in place? I mean, could that happen?
I'm not sure. Are you saying that a spirit could come in and pretend to be a walk-in soul with positive intent?
Yeah, like a deceptive type walk-in. Like there's people on Earth who will renege on their deals that they make, and maybe they do the same thing. You're just a con walk-in soul, like, it's all going to be great. I'm going to do the right thing.
I mean, I just don't see that as possible because, like, if a small negative a thought form or entity is not going to be able to take a soul out of its body, it's just, that's like a horror movie kind of stuff, you know? Like, the reason that the soul exchange happens is because the soul completely disconnects. So let's say, that's like saying if an old person in a nursing home passed away, their body suddenly got reanimated and they got up and started walking around like a corpse. Like, no, like, negative entities don't have the power to do that. They're not able to provide the life force to make a person's body get up and have personality. Like, it has to be like a full spiritual exchange. So, you know, you have to have the full energy of that soul in there.
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about your situation then? Because, again, you yourself are a walk-in, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
and I'm very proud to be a walk-in and to have helped the person that wanted to leave the lifetime. That's a big deal to me. It was being able to help her because she was ready to go and take on her responsibilities and also just enjoy living life. I love being alive. I love being a human. I'm very thankful.
I gotta be honest, I enjoy it too, especially now. I mean, you know, just doing what I'm doing here, I love it like crazy. And so, you know, people say, oh, I wouldn't want to live 200, 300 years. And I'm thinking, well, right now I would. Maybe later I change my mind. But if you ask me right now, sure, I want to see what comes. But I've been told that we're going to see what comes anyways, no matter we're here or not. And I'm not for sure about that. So I would definitely like to see evidence of extraterrestrials be disclosed to everybody. I'd like to see us be able to finally communicate with the other side. I mean, all of us, not just a psychic. You being a walk-in, are you able to connect with the other side? Do you have, I mean, because I don't think I'm a walk-in. I think I'm just, me. And so you're a walk-in, so I'm wondering, do you have like that sixth sense that maybe I wouldn't have?
Yes. The key with me is I never grew up in a society that said you can't. That said you can't talk to the other side. You can't be clairaudient. And that's my primary means of contacting the other side. I hear. I hear them. I tune in and I hear. So yeah, I do have extensive experience talking to the other side. It started probably 4 weeks after my walk-in. I began to tune into the other side of the veil and channel and automatic write, and I did not have any of those abilities prior to January 20th.
Uh-huh. So then because honestly, I had not heard about this until I had a listener. Listeners are great. They send me all kinds of stuff. And I had a couple listeners who had been telling me, well, you need to get a guest on about walk-ins. You need to get a guest on about... And I says, well, how about you seem to know something about it? How about you come on? And, so there's been this search for somebody to come on and explain more about it. And then you came along, and I'm thinking, great, now I could finally learn about this. So how frequent is this? I mean, how... out of maybe a 7 billion population.
That is something that I want to find out in the future. I am a firm believer that there should be statistics. There should be data collection. Because we're not organized. We haven't formed a formal organization where you can just go and say, hey, this happened to me. I need help. And I would like to be part of that in the future if I can find other walk-ins who agree on a common interest, because I want to be able to go on radio show and say, hey, this 10% of people have had, say, just to throw a number out there, 10% of people have had this happen to them. It's most common between the ages of this, and this is the number one difficulty they go through. These are places they can go for help. This is a contact in New Jersey or in Florida that helps integrate walk-ins, and there is none of that, as far as I know, going on yet.
Yeah. I mean, is this something, if I was to go to, say, the public library, I mean, are there books on this?
There are a handful of books, but only a few, yeah.
Oh, and obviously, mainstream science, I'm sure, won't even look anywhere near it because they don't even want to admit that there's ghosts. They think that, if you've had a ghostly experience, well, that was a chemical in your brain, or if you've had an out-of-body experience, it was the chemical of your brain. You were really dreaming, and so with that being the case, I mean, who's doing any research in this area? Anybody you know of?
Me.
You, okay. And so what are you learning about this?
I'm still in the very early stages. Some of what I've gathered is it's common to have more than one, where people will tell me I had a walk-in at 23 and then 7 years later I had another. And I've also found they tend to drop off around the age of like 50. The most common ages is 20s and 30s, a couple in their 40s. That's just from doing a poll on a Facebook group that has perhaps 150 walk-ins.
And where do these walk-in spirits come from? Are they people who, I mean, are these new? I mean, fresh out of the factory? Or are
many are extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. Now we're getting somewhere. All right.
Yeah.
They are. And now from what star system might these be, or is it another dimension?
I am from an Arcturian civilization, personally. And I also know of people who come from Sirius and the Pleiades, Orion, and I also know walk-ins who claim only to be from Earth. They're Earth seeds, not star seeds. However, most of us, I would say, have an imprint or, an Akashic record memory heavily imprinted with us being from another star system. Obviously, that's up for debate.
So then you would actually be an extraterrestrial trapped in a human's body.
Yeah, choosing a human's body to have an experience.
Oh, so not quite trapped then. You've just chose. So then now I'm really curious is how many walk amongst us, and why are extraterrestrials coming to fill bodies on Earth?
That's a fascinating question.
Well, yeah, I want to make sure it's not an invasion.
Oh, so you think we're not for good?
Well, I don't know. You look harmless, but then that's your human form, right?
I'm not an expert on, say, negative reptilians or any of that. I can't see them wanting to be humans, so they'd rather work behind the scenes and attempt to do their negative things without our knowing. I can't say that I can identify any negative walk-ins that are like, hey, I'm a negative ET. So I'm not sure how to answer that.
So then you're not, a good friend of mine, Gordon James Giannato, he says that there are selfish ETs, and then there are, what was the other word he had? Unselfish ETs. So then you would be amongst the unselfish variety.
Correct. Yes. Arcturus is a very evolved society.
I see. So, there's going to be lots of questions. Folks, I've been asking about, I said I'd love to interview an extraterrestrial, and it would appear that tonight I'm at least halfway there, an extraterrestrial within a human's body. And so I can't imagine that there's not questions about this out there. Now, do you know anything about the Galactic Federation of Planets? I've got a listener and a former guest who have talked extensively about a galactic federation of planets. There's supposed to be a group of good ETs who are waiting to intervene and help the planet.
Mm-hmm. I believe. Just give me one moment to tune into my guidance, right?
Sure.
Okay, what they're saying is that the Galactic Federation is sort of there as like a gateway to serve as like a communication council for as disclosure approaches, and we have leaders step up to communicate with the other star systems. I think the Galactic Federation is sort of like a, that's the go-to. That's where you go. That has people on it who want to further the evolution of the galaxy.
And one of my listeners, he frequents conferences. He says you sound like an ET walking to him, and I've never heard one up until tonight. So, all right. So then, what about our solar system, Mars, these even Pluto and areas like that? I mean, are there these ETs like all around the solar system waiting to inhabit human bodies? Is that what's going on? And again, this is an agreement.
Definitely. The ways that waiting to inhabit human bodies, yes. From what I'm aware, I am almost like a genetic project. If you've heard of, obviously I'm sure you've heard of that the human race was genetically altered thousands and thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. And now they're trying to upgrade our DNA to make our human bodies better vehicles, so that if they want to have an experience as human, they can come in and not have to be subject to so many limitations that came out of the DNA manipulation. So they're trying to upgrade our bodies and our frequencies so that they can come in and out.
Mm-hmm. See, now, I don't know if that's negative or not, but again,
it sounds scary, but it's not as bad as it sounds.
Well, I'd love to, if they want to come pull up in the driveway, I'd be more than happy to talk to them, and I wouldn't call the police. But so
the easier way for them to come in and start affecting our population, is to do it. I hate to say an inside job, but that's what it is. It's an inside job. Instead of walking amongst us and scaring everybody, they'd rather temporarily incarnate their consciousness and do work from inside as a human. It's easier.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm wondering now if one way to distinguish who's who, then maybe it is that everybody who is on this planet and is able and has psychic abilities, maybe those people are the ETs. And we've got a good friend, Maggie, who's a psychic, who joins us on the show and in the chat, and now I'm starting to wonder if she's not an ET.
Most of them will know. They'll know. They might not share it with you because there's a stigma, obviously. There's definitely a stigma. That's why I didn't come right out on your show and say, hey, listen, I'm an ET, actually. But most of us have some idea, or there are ones that are asleep, and they're just kind of doing their job by emitting a vibration or a frequency. Not everyone who's psychic is an ET.
All right. And yeah, I was just kidding, Maggie, wherever you are out there. But yeah, so then there is no way of telling who's who, for me anyways, but is there for you?
Yes, I can tell when others are also ET.
Okay, and you want to share how one might be able to recognize an ET, or are you not allowed to do that?
For me, it's just through channeling. Like, I have multiple councils that I report to and send information back to. So I am also very psychic, so I could meet someone And sometimes I'll say, is anyone else in this room like me? And they'll say no. About 90% of the time it's no. And occasionally I'll meet someone and I'll say, they remind me of, star people. And I can just kind of ask and they'll confirm yes or no. Is this person genetically changed? And sometimes they'll say yes. And that's when I get very excited. I've only met a few other people who are also genetically changed as I am.
Very interesting. So why, I guess I asked this, but I'm still curious about this, is why ETs would want to mix. Are our souls all the same? Is that why they can? Because, you can't take, how can I explain this? I can't take plugs for, say, one cell phone and use those adapters to plug in maybe to another cell phone. So, so how are their souls, or your souls, able to...
The souls are the same.
They are the same. All right. So how far away is the star system from Earth? From our star system. How far are we talking? Is there like a window, a door that opens, that some kind of portal, or are these machines that are being driven in?
That's a complicated question. I am not usually given mechanical information about how mechanically did I get here. I just know that I've come in and out, and I'm very aware of the chakra system and how energetically my body changes as soul aspects are changed out. I can give you an example. About 3 weeks ago, I had a continuous experience of being Marie in this body from the time of the walk-in, and about 3 weeks ago I hit my head and I heard them saying, okay, you're getting on a ship. I'm like, okay, whatever, used to this stuff by now. And a different soul aspect of me came in, and she had a different name, and I thought I was having a second walk-in. And as far as I know, I went away on a ship, and I was having more learning done in Arcturus, and then I was dropped back down to here 2 days ago, and I came back in while someone else was functioning in the body. And this is what I'm sort of want to get out, is that ETs are using particular people's bodies to do jobs, and it's the easiest way right now for them to just do jobs.
Okay, so it's not only the borders being open that's flooding America. Then we've got ET spirits, but you say that they're not negative, so I'm okay with that. If there's actually a deal being made, and I don't know if they're renting it out or what happens. This is a permanent thing then. So then when you take over a body, it's yours now. There's no, you now own the title to it, shall we say?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mary, hang on with us for a moment. We're going to take a break because we're up on one, and we're going to come back, talk some more. If you don't mind, I'll open lines too. If anybody wants to call in, they're more than welcome to, and need not worry. I demand that my guests are respected by everybody. If not, you don't last long on my phone line. So Mary, hang on with us for a moment. We are going to take this break. It's going to get a little quiet for you, because we're going to put you on hold here, but we'll be back, so don't go anywhere. Folks, Mary's an extraterrestrial. I have been looking to interview an extraterrestrial. I am now doing that, apparently, and I'll tell you, at this point, I don't know where to go with this. I'm thinking, have you seen the picture on the homepage? It doesn't look scary at all, does it? So, Mary the Extraterrestrial, Mary Petersen, on the line with me here tonight, folks. We're going to take this break. Hey, if you've got questions, you can present those questions to me either in the chat room at latenightinthemidlands.com. You could private message those questions to me, or more preferably, you could call in. And here's what I'm going to do tonight. Being that I'm getting to talk to E.T. myself here tonight. I'm feeling in a very giving mood. So what I want to do is give away a 3-month subscription tonight. And if you're already a late nighter, you can't qualify for this. You have to not be a subscriber to get in on this. But we'd like to hear from you. And unless you're going to give the subscription to somebody else, you could do that. I'll let you do that. But we're going to give one away, 3 months. And there is a picture on the photo slider on the homepage of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Go over there. You'll see it. There's several pictures. They're sliding. You're going to find one that's a sky. It's a picture of a sky, and it's got some strange type pattern. I don't know what else to call it, but dotty cloud pattern. And it looks to me like a real picture. A listener sent it in. So here's what I'm going to do. Somebody call in after the break, of course. You got a good question or comment for the guest. That would be great. And then give me a good explanation for that picture, what it is. And it's not a fake. I mean, I didn't do anything to it. I circled the area. That's all I did to it. And give me a good explanation for what we're looking at. And if everybody in the chat, I guess we'll have everyone in the chat vote. I don't know. Ask Ira. He's in the chat room. He'll tell you. But I think he'll vote on it. And if it's a good explanation, you'll win. I hate to be the decider on it because then I'll be called biased and blah, blah, blah. So I like to put it in Ira's hands because, you can't accuse him. He's does things right. Ira's solid. You're not going to get anything out of him if he doesn't want you to have it. All right. So, folks, with that, Mary Petersen, Mary the Extraterrestrial with me tonight. This is Late Night in the Midlands. Folks, we cover everything. We'll be right back. Want the truth? Late Night in the Midlands knows you deserve it. That's why we make it easy for you to listen at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, and by all means inform others. Folks, we're not your average radio show. We cover everything. Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Joshua Vera, and I wanted to inform you that Late Night in the Midlands is offering limited on-air advertisement. With 30 and 60-second spots available, or inquire about placing your banner ad on the LNM website. Or go ahead and package a deal, but either way, get the attention you deserve and join the LNM family. Contact us at mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com. Again, that email is mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com.
Hello, this is Lisa Marie, here to tell you about Oxy Silver, legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. Use 528 Superfood as a great tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight, and Zeolove and natural clays for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from CureShop.com, including Oxy Silver, the world's most powerful silver hydrosol, electro-energized to put risky injections, toxic antibiotics, and deadly drug pushers out of business. Oxy Silver is covalently bonded to water, unlike any other silver product, using the frequency of chlorophyll 528, what Dr. Horowitz explains is pure tone love, the universal healer. NASA originally developed covalently bonded silver hydrosols to keep astronauts healthy in space. Dr. Horowitz added the 528 frequency to NASA's formula and more. OxySilver works 3 ways to electrocute dangerous germs better than anything, far better than all leading silver products, and without any risks. OxySilver oxygenates and resonates with 528 for faster healing. So help save lives, putting drug lords and criminals out of business, and keep the LNM network broadcasting. Register for our free cooperative at healthyworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthyworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. Buy OxySilver, GI Flora Pro, 528 Superfood, Zeolove, and Love Minerals at great discounts at CureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. Cure Shop. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Hey folks, do you love Late Night in the Midlands? Do you miss shows because of the time of night? Do you wish you could listen at your convenience? Well, we can help you out with that one. Become a late nighter without the late nights and subscribe. Become a late nighter for just $5 a month. That's right, $5 a month for the paranormal, the unknown, the known, but most important, the truth. Go to www.latenightinthemidlands.com and subscribe right away to become a late nighter and help keep the LNM Radio Network on the air.
I made love to an alien near Roswell last night. We strolled along together in the pale moonlight. I had a funny feeling that something wasn't right. I made love to an alien last night. When she gripped my hand, I was feeling mighty fine, but her fingers with mine would not intertwine. Rub it down and gazed into her eyes. They were big as donuts and blacker than the sky. She said, I'm feeling lonely. I said, Lord, so am I. We'll stroll along together, but we won't question why. That ground beneath your feet here is flashing red and white, and sprouting little mushrooms left and right. Then she threw me down and put me on my back. To tell the truth, I thought I'd seen my last. But she settled down and snuggled in my arms, and I made love to that maiden from the stars.
On the east coast of the United States from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-317-2264. Or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID, Late Night in the Midlands.
Well, holy smokes, folks. I may very well be speaking with an extraterrestrial. Now, do I feel like I am? Well, I don't know what that's supposed to feel like. I know that... well, I don't know anything anymore, do I? I really don't, but we're going to get back to it with my guest tonight, and I would love to hear from all of you. I demand, however, respect for my guests, no matter whether you believe or not. You don't call in to bash. You can challenge, and you can ask questions. That, no problem, but to call in and torment, it's not going to happen. I'll get rid of you quick, and, That'll be the end of it. So let's not go there. Let's keep it respectful. This is a family-oriented show. Remember that, folks. It's always been that way. It's going to always be that way. We want everyone to be able to listen, even the little ETs out there. So with that, I want to get back to it. The website's latenightinthemidlands.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, and by all means, inform others as we get back to this very, very interesting show with my guest, Mary Petersen. And, all right, so we're back. Mary, you're with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, and we have a call. We've got David Koss. David is a frequent flyer here at Late Night in the Midlands. Welcome aboard, David.
Good evening, Michael and Marie. It's so nice to hear the sound of your voice.
Oh, it's nice to hear you too. Thank you for calling in.
I am very, very curious as to many facts and figures which you now represent, and I'm a little uneducated about how much you actually know about this planet and the circumstances that we as human beings born and raised here are under at the moment. Are you aware that this country and the world actually is under dominion by a few individuals, and that this Agenda 21, which is designed to eliminate 90% of us by 2029, is now starting to take effect?
Yes, I wouldn't say I'm aware on the specifics of what you're talking about, but I'm aware that there's an extremely big problem with the government and the lies being told to the American people and the attempts to control the entire Earth, really.
Mm-hmm. Was that one of the reasons you came here?
It's possible. It's sort of like if they told me every reason I was coming here, it would ruin. I don't get a total and complete outline of what exactly I'm going to do when I get here, because that ruins the point of being in the life. So maybe it's something I'll become involved in down the road.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, are you aware of a creative entity or entities that gestated this entire physical universe, and the reason why we are all here in physical form from one world or another now?
I believe in oversouls, soul groupings. I believe that we all eventually go back to one source, and that source split itself off into many experiences, many universes, many solar systems, and then eventually experience of incarnation in order to gain information, gain more awareness, more love, and eventually combine all those experiences so we can all experience one another. And, the universe is like one big mirror. It's everything you're experiencing is yourself.
Mm-hmm. I have one last question for you, Marie. Like Michael said, I'm an avid listener of this program, and I have appeared upon it on one or two occasions. What I found out myself, I'm almost 60 years old, what I found out myself through practical experience is the new molecular self-spun fluid, electron fluid concept, which dovetails with the 7-year cellular rebuild cycle in your own body, which means that by self-influencing your fluids that you intake every day, you can remain in the physical form for up to 1,000 years rather than 70 to 100 years. And this is a real big breakthrough in the sciences and that we all consider medicine and whatnot nowadays. I have a couple videos on the YouTube under A New Cure for Cancer and everything else, if you'd like to take a look at them. But thank you so much for answering my questions, and I'm going to be listening adamantly for the rest of the program tonight.
All right, David, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it, and you might want to look into a new wire or something. You've got a really, really bad connection, my friend, but we got you, and we thank you for the call. And anybody else wants to call in, you're more than welcome to do so. Here's the rule, though. When you call in, there is one rule, and that is that you mute yourself until I call you on the show. I don't want to hear you, and I'm not being sarcastic here. I don't want to hear you until I invite you on with us. So when you do come on, there's no screener going to say, what's your question, or any of that. We just take you on. And it's up to you to be quiet, or I have to hit the button. I have to pull a George Bush on you. So I don't want to do that. So make sure you keep quiet on your end. Now, all right, Mary, I've got a lot of questions coming from the chat, and I'll get to some of those. One question, and it's a good one. How would we know? Now, I know some psychologists would probably say, well, this sounds like multiple personality disorder. Now, I'm not saying that. Only you know for sure what's going on with you. So what would you say to somebody who might present that as being what's going on with you?
Well, I would say compare what was going on with the natal soul, the one who was born here, and compare that to who I am now. Because before the walk-in, I had more psychological issues. I had an eating disorder. I was in an abusive relationship. I was addicted to drugs. I had depression. I had many, many psychological issues, and the difference after the walk-in was I became a being of health. I made friends. I began participating in social activities. I became creative. I began using talents I never had before. So if you want to call that a new personality, a mental disorder, go ahead. But the key is that my quality of life is better and that I'm functioning better. And I'm a much, much happier and healthier person than I was before.
I see. And in the defense of all those who are called crazy or given some kind of label of whatever, multiple personality disorder or this or that, in their defense, it's just like the autistic kids, people, oh, I'm so sorry, but maybe they're just on such a much higher vibration that we're just too stupid to understand that. And so maybe, who really gets to decide who's crazy and who's telling the truth? I mean, but somebody who went and memorized everything they could in school. They got this piece of paper that said they're an expert in it now. And so then they come out and they say, oh, no. We can explain that. That's the brain and there's damage here or there. And I mean, maybe they're the ones that are damaged. Believe me, I met some people, and I'm not picking on people who've accomplished great things in college. I'm saying that I have met some people with PhDs that, I mean, it's like they didn't even graduate kindergarten when it comes to life itself. I mean, they're just so secluded in their thinking. Yes. Yeah, so I, in the defense of that, maybe people with multiple personality disorder, maybe they really don't have a disorder. Maybe they've got multiple people in them, multiple souls in them.
Maybe they're geniuses. Maybe they draw upon knowledge from other dimensions. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, okay, so do you know of any cases like that where there's multiple souls within one body? I mean, I think I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. Do tell.
Okay, well, the other option you have besides a walk-in, some people called a soul braid, where they have a second soul that comes in, intertwines with them. Mm-hmm. They basically have the addition of new abilities. It's sort of hard to explain. There are many people in the walk-in chat group who talk about this. It's known as a soul braid. I've never seen really... Well, you would have to explain... Let me start over. Okay. There is something called soul aspects. So your soul it's a large entity and it has many facets. So in this lifetime, you may be one thing, and then other facets of your soul are living out different personalities, different identities. And some people do what they call integration of soul aspects. So they feel that, okay, I'm Marie now, but I also am able to draw upon the knowledge of other aspects of my soul. So that's sort of like having more than one soul in a body, because you're using the talents and the abilities of other parts of yourself, like who live interdimensionally or are in union up in your oversoul.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
It does, and we have another call, and this is Ira, and Ira has a pretty supernatural type story of his own. Ira, welcome aboard. I don't know if you're going to get into that, but you're two people.
Indeed, I am. It's funny that you were just mentioning that, Marie, because I was just calling to kind of give my story out and see what you thought of it, and it's pretty much along those lines. With me, what happened is when I was in the womb, I was supposed to be twins originally, and one of the twins did not survive. But the spark that was this other person ended up joining in with this body that I'm in right now. That person was who was originally in control of this body. This person was there. My brother was there for the first 7 years of life. I have zero memories before the time period of, me basically coming in. And after that, my first memory when I look back on things is looking into the mirror and saying, my name is Ira. I'm Ira, kind of reasserting my personality into, who I am and what I'm here for. That soul, then the brother, basically went into the background of the brain or the consciousness. And he's still there. We refer to him as Aura, actually, just for simplicity's sake. Once in a while, that person comes out and will talk to people, will interact with people fully. And a lot of times, unless people are really fully aware of the situation, they will have no clue whether they're talking to me or him. But he tends to come out when different subjects are talked about and that he gets kind of entertained by or feels that people really need to know or hear. Mm-hmm. And then there's other times that, I'm here. When he's in control, I don't remember basically anything of what goes on. It's sort of like I'm tranced out. And the way that he puts things, when he's described it to my wife, for instance, is that if I was to be able to touch fully the other side, it would make me useless. It would just totally overwhelm me. And I have had like kind of a little small glimpse of that other side of things that he's really, much more fully integrated into. And all I could do basically for a matter of hours was just sit and cry because I was so overwhelmed by the amount of love and peace and the emotional content that, kind of sat in there. So, I mean, does this sound like one of the situations that you were just describing, or does this sound something else to you?
No, definitely. That sounds like, sharing of the body. It sounds like a soul braid, but it would be up to you if you resonate with that term. And it just means that two of you hang out in the body, and one of you will sort of be the one that's active and actively leading the life, while the other is sort of passive, just kind of chilling. And then at times that his abilities are needed, or he needs to have a particular interaction to help him grow, he'll kind of move to the front, and then he'll be in charge.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it seems like to me.
Ira, let me ask quick. Can one of yous be ET too?
It's a very big possibility. And when asked about it, the other me, Aura, has kind of been very cryptic about the answer, like giving the possibility that yes, but basically he said that we're all aliens, we're all extraterrestrials, we're all from not here previously. So that's folks, the answer that he gives to it.
Here's some extraterrestrial radio for you, right here. But go ahead, Ira. That's very interesting. So then I don't see where there's too much of a difference in these cases, except for Ira, instead of the other soul moving out, it decided to, be a roomie to you.
Be a roomie, yeah. Basically, that's kind of what it is. The way that he described things is that he was here for basically one purpose. Our father was a severe alcoholic. He was very abusive, just a horrible, horrible person for a lot of his life. But we came in basically to try to change that aspect of him, to get him to stop drinking, to start, thinking more of service to others instead of service to self, kind of an idealism. And when he quit drinking and he started getting on to the path of, leading a decent life, basically, that's when Aura basically said, okay, my job here is done. If you want to come in and take things over, go for it. But otherwise, this body's just going to die because it's going to be useless. I'm not here for this anymore.
Well,
so that's essentially what we were here for to begin with, And so I guess I decided, okay, I'll take over and we'll just live this life. So.
Neat. Yeah, I mean, it's a common story. I've heard it. If you're interested in talking with others who also have similar experiences, you should check out the Facebook group. It's started by Yvonne Perry, and it's called Walk-ins Among Us. So if you type that in on Facebook, you would find it, and you could share your story if you want support.
And that's an interesting concept that somebody had just brought up in the chat room over at Late Night in the Midlands. Is it's interesting that you both have had these types of experiences and they came with trauma. But what I realize is that a lot of times when there is something paranormal outside of a haunting, I guess, but out of bodies, near death, walk-ins, double possession of one body, or whatever it might be, that there's sometimes trauma involved with that. Almost like that is either, scientists would say that's the cause of all this, so you're only imagining these things, and I'm not saying that. Or maybe that is the key to the door to open to these things that you guys are experiencing.
I think it's a key, not maybe the key, but a key. I think that the way that we could look at it is that when it comes to people that have experienced trauma, a lot of times they try to seek different ways of dealing with their new knowledge of consciousness, essentially. So they kind of have to access different aspects of their consciousness just to be able to function in life a lot of times. So by doing that, you have to really take like a step away from the quote unquote reality that this world holds. And you start trying to, you actually start seeing through the hologram that we're living in, really, I think is what it comes down to. That at least that's been my experience with it and what I've seen in people. I don't know about you, Marie.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Makes sense.
And it's Mary, right?
Marie.
Oh, so I was getting it wrong again. All right, thanks, Ira, for that.
I learned not to be picky about names after my walk-in. At first, I said, they better call me Marie. I don't want to be called Jamie anymore, and I yelled at everyone. And then I had, another soul aspect come in for a while. And she's like, well, I'm not Marie. I'm Monique. And I said, at this point, it's just a label. It doesn't even matter.
What confused me is on the call underneath on the Skype, it's got Mary, Marie, Marie, and then on the bio that I have that I put together, somehow I've got Mary on there and not Marie. So that's where my confusion keeps coming in. But
there was never a Mary.
Michael is also notoriously really not that great with names, though. Anyway, so
I hold the record of all the radio shows in the world. I hold the record. I know I do for getting my guest names wrong. Yeah, so
that's great.
But interesting. Ira, you got anything else you want to add? I mean, this is fascinating radio. I'm really enjoying this. This is it's a whole nother world,
Well, I would love to get Marie's take on what do you think of Well, like when people have these different walk-in experiences, when they're trying to describe it to people, do you see that people have a really difficult time dealing with those, like, especially here in America, I think maybe because there are a lot of very religious people that are here. And so a lot of people think automatically, oh, well, it's demonic possession and that kind of thing. Do you see like that happening a lot, or do you see maybe that kind of changing with time?
In other cultures, this would be shamanism. You would go to the village shaman and he would understand, you know? So it's really kind of like a newer problem in the American culture of not discussing these sorts of things. And, you know, there's no movie about, hey, I'm walking. There's no TV show.
There will be. The idea's out there now. Somebody's probably working on it as we speak.
Right. Well, it seems to be kind of the redheaded stepchild of the paranormal sort of field. You know, there really is not much research that's done with it, and most people, again, they really just poo-poo on the idea of the walk-in as being a possibility. I know whenever I tell my story, either I get people thinking or saying, "Well, that's pretty cool," or my God, you're psychotic, you know, backing away, looking with the cross motion on their hands and stuff.
Well, I can tell you this, that both of your stories, both of you, in most settings, there's a good deal of people, and most of them would follow because a couple would say they're nuts. So the others would be afraid that they would be called nuts too, so they would follow, because we have a parrot society. People repeat what they hear. So in most settings, people would call you. I'm telling you, if I had a family reunion going on and I brought the both of you with me, I could tell you most of my family would swear that you guys were two people who I had to have been going out and doing drugs with, because I really and so a lot of people won't open up to these things. And so, I mean, what happens to these people? Do they get a shock when they go to the other side, or what? Because a lot of people don't believe this stuff.
My view on it is we need to educate those in the new agey communities, you know, because they're the ones who are going to be most accepting. So, you know, people don't believe in Reiki. People don't believe in crystals or, you know, water purification or, you know, all sorts of things, chemtrails. So we just have to deal with it as like another facet of that and go where it's going to be taken the most seriously rather than starting with like the average person.
I used to have my show on a network, and the owner of that network came to me. He was like this radical Christian. I mean, he called himself Christian. He was far from that. And this guy, he comes and he says, we can't, listen, we got to drop the psychics. No more psychics on your show. Like I'm going to let someone tell me what to do. And he says, no more psychics, because that's inviting the devil. He says, and, you know, shouldn't be talking about ghosts either. He says, and no more of that Reiki stuff. If anyone wants to send Reiki, don't let them on the show. And he's going, and then what's the other thing people do? Yoga? Is that it?
Yoga, yeah.
Yeah, he said, no yoga. Yoga is evil too. And at that point, of course, everyone knows the story. I took my show off that network, and we've grown tremendously since we got away from. So apparently he had a connection with God, and God was telling him about that. I can't do these things, and so you could see where someone like that would cloud a lot of minds. I mean, you look at him and you think he's nuts, and he really is. So, and then, you know, you get people who really are having experiences come along, and so you got guys like that who give people like you a bad name. So that's all I'm saying, I guess. But I mean,
we appreciate you, Michael, for giving us a place to share.
I tell him that all the time myself too. Yes, I definitely do appreciate him myself as well. Marie, one thing I would like to ask about, and I don't know if you have, you know, really much experience in this kind of area or not, but I know for me personally, in the relationships that I've had over the years, I have never actually told anybody about what, you know, where I'm going from, or, you know, where I'm coming from with everything. And none of, like, I've been married 3 times before my current wife, and none of them had any knowledge of this aspect of my life. None of them had a clue, you know, and if they did, you know, if they did find out, the divorces would have been a lot sooner. The wife that I have now, you know, Jolene, she is, she's amazing, just to say the least. And she's been definitely that whole other aspect, my twin flame kind of thing. With her, she's fully accepting of it and actually gets a kick out of it. She's like, I'm married to 2 guys. Yay. So, you know, have you seen that kind of thing happening a lot to other people as well? Or is it just kind of like not that often that kind of thing happens?
You know, it hasn't on the Facebook group. No one's talked about difficulties with telling others that much. We mostly encourage each other, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself, because if, you know, you can't share something that's such a big part of you with someone, it's not going to work out anyway. And my own experience, I've only shared it to a handful of people, and I have had a lot of people who just couldn't handle it. They just said, you know, I can't handle this. They knew me for years before the walk-in, and they weren't able to cope, and that's okay. So it almost gives me more drive, though, to make me want to raise more awareness of what is going on, because it's not fair. It's not fair to people to lose everyone in their life because no one will listen and accept that part of, you know, who I am or who they are. So it's sad. It's something that has to be worked on. I know the majority of walk-ins lose all their friends, and that's partly because of the change of the soul, and that's partly because they don't resonate with that person, they don't have contracts with them, they don't understand them any longer, they have different personality. But we do have social isolation as a big problem in the walk-in community, and I'm sure also with soul breeds, it's an issue.
I've noticed that myself in my life. It's very rare for me to be able to say that, you know, I'm connected with somebody, you know, on a level of being dear friends. I only have a few in my life that I would consider to be actually friends, other than I may have acquaintances or people that I know, but definitely a very, very short, under 5 list of actual friends.
Right. And I mean, there's more to life than being socially accepted. However, if I were to have an organization down the road, that's an issue that needs to be addressed for ones who are experiencing aspects of multidimensionality and walk-ins to help each other.
I see. Well, Ira, let me ask you really quick. Do you know of anybody else who shares your situation? And I'm going to ask you the same question, Marie.
For me, actually, I've never known anybody personally that has had the same experiences, or, you know, even known any walk-ins. I've encountered people over the years that I've suspected were walk-ins, but not like actually even close to how I've experienced things like what you've referred to as the soul braiding thing. I've never heard that term before, but I definitely like it. It's a good one. The way that I've always explained it is that, like, the souls, you know, I call them sparks, and our sparks basically combined into one big fire, basically. So, but I've never known anybody otherwise personally that I would say, yes, that is definitely the same kind of thing.
I've never met another conscious walk-in, meaning someone who knew what was happening to them the day it happened, which I did. And online, I have some contacts and a few friends I've made through the Facebook group by Yvonne Perry. I've met her, and she's actually the only other real-life walk-in that I've met. She doesn't live by me, though, so I don't have, like, walk-in friends. I don't have others who say, hey, yeah, me too, at all. Other than through, you know, the online forums, which, you know, it gives you a place to communicate, but, you know, it's online is online. So it's a somewhat rare experience, and that's another reason why I would like to coordinate and, you know, be able to have meetups, but there has to be enough of us, and there has to be a willingness to share, because people are in the shadows, people are afraid to say this happened to me, and that's another hurdle that we have to jump.
I think that's one good thing about what you're doing, Marie, and like what I'm doing as well. I talk about my situation on my show a lot. You know, I host a show here on the L&M network as well. I talk about my situation a lot on the show, and I've had responses from people that actually have said, yes, I think that I'm a walk-in as well, and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's I think raising awareness of the fact that this kind of thing does happen, and raising awareness as well that this kind of thing is not some kind of weird demonic experience or some kind of weird multiple personality disorder thing going on, but that it is actually a true singular experience that actually, to me, really has made my life very, very rich, to say the least. I have had one heck of a great life, and I could not look back on anything that I've gone through and say, I wish I didn't go through it, you know?
Well, and here's my position. See, I'm much more open to these things that I may have thought were crazy maybe 20 years ago. Not that I didn't believe in ET, I did, but now, because of the experiences I've had myself, who am I to question anybody else's experience? Because, you know, I've had my own, and I can't make anybody believe any of it, and I don't want to make anyone believe any of it. I could care less if they believe me or not. But I know that these things happen. I had these experiences. So you both could very well, as far as, you know, the naysayers, you both could very well really be telling us the truth right now. And Ira, I believe you, and Marie, I believe you. I have no reason not to. You know, come to think of it, I think most of us are ETs when you think about the big picture. I don't think that we started here on Earth, but maybe our guest here knows something about that. So I don't know. Did we start here? Are humans from Earth or from somewhere else, Marie?
I think what's generally agreed upon in the community that studies the origin of humans from a bigger perspective, an extraterrestrial perspective, is that there was a native species here that was sort of ape-like, and there were aliens who came from another planet and genetically altered them, adding their own DNA and DNA from the Pleiades, DNA from different ET races, and they did that to make what we have become today as humans.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds similar to what Aura has said when we've questioned him about this kind of a situation. You know, where did we come from? What was the origins? And pretty much what he described. He didn't go into real huge detail with it, but basically said that there was a species that was here that was originally on track to be the sentient species on Earth, but something ended up occurring that it was no longer viable to do so. So another species of aliens basically came here and co-opted the whole situation, and we're basically now the offshoots of that whole deal that happened, you know, thousands of years ago, basically.
Yeah. No.
I'm not good on the details of that, but the key to realize is that they're genetic specialists. Think about it. If you're an ET and you're so evolved that you know without doubt, your whole civilization knows that the soul is separate from the body, you're going to want to create bodies that are fun to live in or whatever, like, you know, to continue your race. So whether you want to inhabit another civilization, you're going to say, what kind of being can we design that would be effective here?
Now, do you get a better deal on a body that's totally abused? I mean, like, I've seen on TV these people, and I'm not picking on overweight people, but these people who would be like 1,000 pounds and they have to come and literally cut part of the house off. I mean, I could think of that maybe being a situation where you'd want to trade, but would those on the other side want to trade? Do they?
Maybe that's why everyone's not having walk-ins. It has to be an appropriate vehicle.
Well, and it's about experiences too. I mean, you know, if the way that I've looked at things over the years and what I've learned is that life is all about lessons. We're here to learn these lessons, to have different singular experiences that contribute to the whole knowledge of what, you know, the creator basically wants as his experiences, you know. So that experience of being like a large overweight person, 1,000 pounds, getting pulled out of the house and all that kind of stuff, that experience is just as valid of an experience as all the other experiences that are out there.
Right.
But not everybody is going to, want to have that kind of an experience. It just kind of depends on the spirit itself, the availability of those that are on the other side that are waiting to come in. Some of them may want to have the lessons of, I want to know what it's like to have a downtrodden life because my life previously was a really good one. So let me see what it's like to be, kind of on the downtrodden side in this next one, that kind of thing.
And speaking of last lives, I've got Mary Lou McIntyre, Dr. Mary Lou McIntyre, coming on. I think next week it is. It might be this week. I don't know. I don't have the calendar in front of me. I know she's scheduled to come on. And so people might be interested. Oh, as a matter of fact, it's tomorrow night. Wow. That snuck up on me. So she'll be with me tomorrow night. So if anybody's interested in finding out about your past life, tomorrow night's for you. But if you want to learn what it's like to be a walk-in and you got a question for essentially an extraterrestrial, and then we'll take them. And we got a ton of questions that have been coming in on the private chat and even in email. So I'm going to get to some of these questions. Ira, anything else that you want to get out, by all means, go ahead. And we're coming up on a break here shortly. And then I want to get to chat questions and even take more calls if people want to call in. And we're still waiting for a contest winner, aren't we, Ira?
We are indeed, and just to make sure that everybody knows, we're looking at that picture. I'll drop the link on the chat room again over there at lnmradionetwork.com. Make sure you click on the chat and listen button up at the top of the page. Big blinking red button. You can't miss it. I'll drop the link to the picture in there. What we're looking for is basically if you can give us the best answer as to what this thing is, we're going to take a chat poll and come up with a 3-month subscription to the winner of who thinks that or who thinks they have the answer to what this kind of image is. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. But Marie, it's been fascinating listening to you tonight and fascinating talking to you. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the show.
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
All right, Ira. Thank both of you. Ira, you and your other half there. And your wife.
You bet.
All right. Have a great night, Ira. And we are getting close on a break here, so I want to take that break in a moment. But I'm going to do something for the Dark Matter audience too, because we get pretty good attention from over there as well. So what I will do is for those listening on Dark Matter on Saturday night, you're going to hear this show more than likely. So here's what we'll do for you. Saturday night, should this show be running, and I think it should, you can email me and give me a description of the picture, and I promise you what I will do is pick the first email that comes in from over there, and you too can get a 3-month subscription. So we'll give away 2 tonight, but of course the next one, well, and no cheating. So don't get your email ready and then send it in before Saturday on accident, because you're not going to win that way. We do have a break coming up, but we have another call here first. We've got 915 area code. You're on Late Night in the Midlands. First name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Alex. I'm calling from Anthony, Texas.
All right, well, welcome, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi. I just wanted to let Marie know that she's doing so well. I'm a personal friend, and I just wanted to discuss why I support her so much.
Okay.
Am I on live right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No screeners.
Oh, okay.
We're live. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, it's no surprise to anyone when you say something like it. It's such a strange reality we live in. It's hard to say what's really going on for sure, why we're here. And from personal experiences, I feel comfortable saying that I don't think anybody has come forward with the truths that really resonates completely with anyone and makes perfect sense. And I constantly remind myself of that fact. We have no idea what's going on here. Any truth that anybody claims to have is their truth. And, yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure she does too. Any comments, Marie?
No, not in particular.
Okay, great.
Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Do you have any questions?
No, not in particular.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for listening, and thanks for the call in. And any guess on the picture, or are you not participating?
No, none.
All right. Well, thanks for your call. I appreciate it. Folks, we're going to take a break. So that 3-month subscription is still open. Still open. So, Marie, hold on with us for just a moment. I'm going to put you on hold here, and then we're going to take this break, and we'll be back to finish up. So don't go anywhere, please. Folks, I have on the line with me an extraterrestrial. She says that she is a walk-in, that it was agreed upon, and that she's originally from another star system. You could believe it, or you don't have to believe it. I personally leave it up to you. I mean, that's your business. Me? Hey, it could be real, folks, and, I can't pass up an opportunity like this, So we're doing this thing, and that subscription's still open. And again, dark matter folks listening, please email me. If you can email me at mv@latenightinthemidlands.com and let me know, not until Saturday, so don't cheat, but Saturday night, just email me and I will pick out the first one. You'll know by Sunday at the very latest of this week whether you won or not, and we're going to give you a 3-month subscription as well, because folks, it's not about the money. It never has been, and it never will be. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. This is Late Night in the Midlands. I'm Michael Vera, and you're listening to some extraterrestrial radio. We'll be right back.
Become a late nighter without the late nights, and subscribe now to help Late Night in the Midlands bring you the best guests with the best information.
Need your L&M fix? You can find us on social medias everywhere, like our Facebook fan page, Late Night in the Midlands, or our Facebook group, the L&M Radio Network. Our other Facebook groups, The Last Frequency. You can also find L&M on Twitter at L&M Radio, and all of this and more can be found on our website at www.latenightinthemidlands.com. Again, that's www.latenightinthemidlands.com, bringing the truth back to talk radio.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell, here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. Read Dr. Horowitz's book, Healing Celebrations, to learn how miracle healings can be made to happen through faith, prayer, and a pure diet. Get great immunity using vitamin C, D, and OxySilver, Liquid Dentist, GI Flora Pro, a top-shelf probiotic. Use Green Harvest as a great-tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight. And Zeolove, and natural clays for for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from theCureShop.com. Register for our free cooperative at healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthyworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
Hey, folks. Do you love late night in the Midlands? Do you miss shows because of the time of night? Do you wish you could listen at your convenience? Well, we can help you out with that one. Become a late nighter without the late nights and subscribe. Become a late nighter for just $5 a month. That's right, $5 a month for the paranormal, the unknown, the known, but most important, the truth. Go to www.latenightinthemidlands.com and subscribe right away to become a late nighter and help keep the LNM radio network on the air.
For 15 years, I've been obsessed to find out what was going on inside of him. It's been my life work and my ultimate failure. This force, this thing that lived inside of him came from a source too violent, too deadly for you to imagine. It grew inside him, contaminating his soul. It was pure evil.
In many cases is the idea that the aliens are essentially trying to create a hybrid mix of themselves and ourselves. They're interested in our DNA, our genetic makeup. And beyond that, they're interested in our personalities, our affection for our children, our love for one another, a whole kind of range of what we think of almost the most human characteristics we have emotionally.
We have to face up to reality that, for example, the UFO phenomenon is a real phenomenon, no question about it. So anybody who debunks the UFO phenomenon itself don't know what he or she's talking about.
Hey, Michael, I promised you I'd call in for a little bit, and here I am.
I know that I bashed Bush the entire time. I wouldn't even allow him coast to coast there for a while because I was told not to talk about Bush.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Late night in the Midlands. We cover everything.
On the east coast of the United States from the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina. You're listening to Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera. To talk to Michael Vera, dial 803-317-2264 or around the world on Skype. Just use Skype ID, Late Night in the Midlands.
All right, Burning Love. Yes, I am loving tonight. I am loving this show. I am loving the idea that, you know, I know there's going to be some of you hecklers out there who are going to send emails and go, oh, how can you be credible if you just believe anybody's an extraterrestrial? I know it's coming, and you know what? To the spam mail for you, because you know what? How do you know? Maybe, I mean, if we're going to close our mind to it, who knows? Maybe I'm nice to her and I talk to her, and maybe a week from now one pulls up over my house, and you never know where this can go. You know, I'm not going to burn any bridges, folks. That's not what I do here on Late Night in the Midlands. I don't burn bridges. I build them. All right, so let's get back to it. The call-in number is 803-317-2264. And by the way, folks, if you don't know by now, if you're new to the show, we have, you know, sometimes people come in and they act like they're 2 years old in our chat room, and they pout and stomp their feet, and I want, this is me. We don't cater to nobody. I just want to let you know that. We have fun. We get the truth out. We do all that. and we're very nice to people, but we don't put up with shenanigans, nonsense. That's just not why we're here. We're here to expand the mind and to get to the truth. And the truth is, I may be talking to an extraterrestrial. And if you haven't gone to the homepage of LateNightInTheMidlands.com yet, then you don't know what she looks like. Well, she looks very human, and she doesn't look threatening at all, folks. Her name is Marie Petersen. At least that's the name of the body she occupies, because she is a walk-in. You're saying it's not so? It's not possible? No, my religion says that can't happen. Well, you know what? Hey, she says it's real, and I have no reason to doubt her. So let's get back to it, folks. We'll get her back on the air with us. And Marie, I'm going to go ahead and grab some questions from our chat. Well, let's go with email first. I've got an email here from Laura. Laura says, hello, I missed the first part of the show, and this may have already been discussed. How does the walk-in enter the body, and what part, if any, do dreams play a part in the walk-in?
Okay, well, in the dream state is where it would be facilitated between the soul that wants to leave and the soul that wants to come in. We're in the dream state, we're not bound to our body, so we can go to other dimensions where these sorts of things are taken care of and sort of facilitated by guides and ascended masters. So, most people have like generalized plan for their incarnation. If they're planning on taking on some pretty hard, pretty karmic stuff, they might sort of build in, sort of like what Michael said earlier, there's doorways where you can leave, and it would be a similar thing with a walk-in, walk-out, is that they might have said, well, after I complete such number of tasks, I plan to leave if it's, for the highest good. So it's sort of the same way that a soul leaves the body when it dies. It just begins to disconnect itself from the reality around it. My soul that was here before I came in went through a very visceral death process where she withdrew from everything around her. She was sort of very sad and not very active in her life, and she even had almost like a life review where she would remember everything that happened to her. And there was a long in-between stage where she was letting go of the life, letting go of the physical life and the fact that she wasn't going to be in it anymore. And then one day, like, the etheric connection of the solar plexus was actually severed, and I felt like a big popping. And that was the day that I was like, okay, I'm fully in the body now, and I'm not Jamie. I'm somebody else. So I hope that sort of helps. Do you need more clarification? Just ask.
All right, yeah, it's that easy, folks. You could private message me. You can email me. Here's the email I watched during the show, by the way. The email I watched during the show is latenightinthemidlands@yahoo.com because it's easier for me to access on computer B. So, but if you want to email me about being a guest or anything else outside of a question for the guest, you want to do that at mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. All right. So that being said, let's go to our next one here. We've got Crystal, and she says, hey, Michael, I'm able to connect up to my soul. I can feel it there behind me. And a few weeks ago, I was able to feel another thing next to my soul hanging out there. I'm not really sure what it is, but it was interesting. I guess the question might be, do you have any idea what that could be? Now, I guess it's not like Ira's situation. I think that would be, if anything, more along the lines of yours or a guardian angel, or what is it?
I'm getting that it's a guide. It's a guide who just watches you and is with you and is there for you to get advice from. That it's just a guide. Okay. Almost all of us have guides that are around.
All right. And Crystal has another question here. Do some people simply have no souls? Because there's a lot of people who I can't even see having a soul. And, I agree with her so much on that. But, yeah, what is in the body of, say, somebody who, like a Jeffrey Dahmer, or I won't get into politics, but there's plenty I could compare it to.
It's just a soul aspect that's going to need a lot of healing after the life is over, because when we create negativity and harm to others, we pay for it later on. It has to be dealt with somehow. So it's still a soul in there. I don't think the body can walk around without a soul in it, if that's like a literal serious question. The soul animates the body. So even if it's a soul that you believe is the worst person ever, they still have a reason for being here, and if they didn't, they would disconnect and the body would die, or someone else could come in.
All right, great. All right, we got another question here. We got plenty. People are you are definitely bringing out the interaction. People have questions. Bear asks, "Hey Mike, how long did your guest say she was an ET walk-in?" So that's the first question.
Okay, perfect. January 20th of this year was my walk-in, so it's been approximately 6 or 7 months that I've been this way, that I've been someone else.
Okay, fair enough. He also asks, I'd like to know how she acquired Earth skills like driving, computers, phone, when to sleep, eat, etc.
Yeah.
And he said, sorry, his internet sucks, or he would probably call. So, okay, well, I thank you for sparing us the bad connection. So how'd you get your Earth skills? They came with the body, or?
The body has cellular memory. So just like you can like sleepwalk and get up and like make yourself dinner, or you can remember how to ride a bike when you haven't got one on 20 years. Those memories are like rote, so like you can like still write and everything when you're walking. I heard of one walking who went from being right-handed to left-handed, actually. And some things are unfamiliar to the walk-in, like they will change their diet, or they won't like to eat food because they have memories of being on a planet where food wasn't really a thing. So, I mean, there's an awkwardness to learning to use the body, definitely, but the main things you need to know are preserved. So you just kind of take over, but you bring in new things.
Great answer. All right. And WJP asks, can she speak any language she wants to? If not, how did the ET learn English and did not learn other languages? And I could think of probably some good explanations for that, but they're asking you.
Sure. Well, it did take a while to be able to communicate effectively, because I'm using like the brain to understand English, and I first receive information more as like an energy. So then if I want to, it takes me a few seconds to like understand what someone is saying to me, because I have to sort of translate it into something I can understand, like an information block. And then to speak back to that person, I have to download the information block and turn it into language. And I do that, this relates to the last question with the cellular memory. The brain remembers the language, but it's like completely different. Like I speak differently than the natal soul did, Jamie. I speak differently than her. I use different phrases. I think differently. All of that thought patterns were gone. So it's a change. There's a big change, and I used to get made fun of because it would take me so long to understand what somebody was saying, and after a while I began to get better and better at it. Now, relating to other languages, I almost understood Spanish for a while. Someone sent me their page and it was totally in another language, and I kind of knew what it said. So I feel like I could rewrite the brain patterns to learn languages a lot faster, kind of like how a 3 or 4 year old exposed to a foreign language is able to pick up on it faster. I think I could learn them, but I only have English as a resource in the brain for me to access.
All right. Okay, I'll move to the next question. Like I said, we've got a lot. And, folks, you're welcome to call in, too. 803-317-2264. And do not forget, we're still giving away a 3-month subscription to one of the listeners here tonight, live on LateNightInTheMidlands.com. So we're also going to give away a 3-month subscription for our Saturday audience over on the Dark Matter Radio Network. So I tell you, we just love to give away. We got another question here, though. Okay. Sorry, but could you ask her about mental health history, if any, and how long has this allegedly been going on exactly? And has she had these experiences her whole life or just recently? So I guess first asking about mental health, and I think you covered that. But if you want to hit it once more, you're welcome to, or you could pass on it. That's up to you.
I'm very open. I don't mind at all. When I was 14 or 15, or the natal soul was, she was treated for an eating disorder, anorexia, and some issues of self-injury and depression at that time. And she also was heavily into drug use from about 16, 17, 18, 19, maybe up to about age 22. So that's my mental health history. I've never been diagnosed with anything like bipolar, schizophrenia, nothing like that. And this began January 20th, and I haven't needed to be treated for anything because I've been fine.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So, he's sincere, or the questionnaire is he's sincere. So, just I guess they're obvious questions. I mean, everybody wants to know, and you might have missed when you covered that earlier. All right. So the next question is, how long has this allegedly been going on exactly? And I think you covered that too. But if you would throw it out there again.
My first walk-in was January 20th, so 6 months, a little over 6 months.
All right, and the next question here is, has she had these experiences her whole life or just recently? So just recently, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right, and now we've got, let's see, Toxic Burn has another question here. Also, if she is in fact an ET, then what is her job for them that she was talking about? So apparently, why did the ET send you to Earth?
Mostly it's to sort of help America really move towards more of an Arcturian society, and their model of society is one where everyone fulfills a role, and it's in their energy signature. So someone is born and they know, okay, this person is meant to be a cook, or this person is meant to be a foreign diplomat, and everyone is just sort of given freedom to fulfill their role to the greatest extent that they can.
All right, incredible here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, good. Another good question. Let's see here. Now I lost. Is she aware of other ETs that are being controlled by walk-ins here on Earth, and what kind of jobs do they have?
Okay, well, I mean, some ETs are here for just spreading awareness about their civilization, like mine is. Many are healers. We're just healing, and we're helping awaken the younger generations. So, it depends. I mean, you could go on the Walk-ins Among Us group and ask, hey, what are you guys all? If you feel you are an ET incarnate here, why do you think you came? I mean, this is one of the things that we need to do further work on, is surveying and finding out more about why others also are here and coming.
All right. Next question. This is from Eden. Says, can you ask if you remember about your life before the walk-in? Do you remember anything about that? Okay, it says that. I guess that's the question.
Very little. Very little. Yeah, I can people can trigger memories in me by talking about something. I'll say, like, a brother or sister will bring something up. I'll be like, oh, I kind of can access that. It's just that it's like looking at a photo album. I'll say, look at this page. Like, look at this picture of me in 4th grade. It's not me. I'm looking at someone else. There's no connection to it. It completely changed, like, my perception of memory. I don't remember, like, most of what happened, and it surprises me sometimes when someone brings something up. I say, I forgot that ever happened. So I'm very spacey, and I don't really have a past. That was one of the things I struggled with when I first got here. I said, I don't remember growing up. I don't remember going to school. Even if I could remember that happening, it didn't happen to me, so it wasn't relevant. It wasn't relevant to me. I didn't feel like it ever happened to me. I felt like lost.
Incredible. All right. It really is incredible. I mean, again, boy, I remember I've listened to some really wild stories in my life, and this, you know, people, you could say what you want, but this could very well be real. It's just like people who say they've had out of bodies, and I welcome people to be skeptical about these things. They should always question everything, but you should never throw the baby out with the bathwater when you really don't know for sure. Just putting that out there. No one's saying anything negative at all, but I know it'll come later. All right, so. The next question is from Joshua, and he asks, what planet did you come from? Or do you know?
I only know the star system is an Arcturian star system. I don't know the name of the planet because I don't really look for a lot of linear information. I just kind of try to find out what I need for my specific venture or whatever that day. Or if I'm working with a client, I'll tune in more.
All right. Great. Let's go to the next question here. Can the guest tell if she has any knowledge of the Pleiadians?
Yeah, I mean, I have some.
Okay. Can you share a little bit?
The Pleiadians are very interested in our planet because they feel responsible for some of the genetic manipulation that went on here. And as their race evolved and as they became spiritually enlightened, they decided to go back in and to help more. There are many people who channel the Pleiadians. Barbara Marciniak is like #1. She's very good. And they will tell you their story, and they will tell you their reasons for being here. They're good at helping explain the past of Earth's, you know, the archaeological past, the way things got messed up, and how we came to be under like such a negative authoritative system, and they want to help with that, to help us wake up and break free of it.
And what are their feelings, if you know, about? You've mentioned the control factor on this planet. This is my question now, not the listeners. And how do they feel about that? And even more so, Fukushima, which is really doing some damage to an ocean that has already been hammered by oil spills and Corexix and all these other things.
I mean, Fukushima's a big issue. Nuclear blasts are a big issue. I've done work with soul retrieval where souls were shattered in nuclear blasts. Like, they have that capacity to ruin us, not only on the earth and the waters, but spiritually, to spiritually do damage.
Yeah.
You know, the ETs aren't here to save us. They're not here to come in and say, you need to do this, this, and this to fix everything. They're just here to monitor us, how we're doing, when we're ready for disclosure. If we were spiritually mature enough to have disclosure, we already would, but we aren't. We aren't there yet. People aren't accepting of it, and there would be too much fear. But we're working towards that. We're working towards those times when we can be open about it, and the aliens can just explain it and not have to come through walk-ins and not have to come through channels.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what's happening now.
All right. And what if now I don't think you're a demon at all, but there are some out there who are probably radically involved in their whatever, and they would say, well, ETs are demons. So so let me ask you, if somebody was to do an exorcism or something along those lines, could you be pulled back out of that body?
I doubt it. You're not going to find the natal soul in here. She's long gone.
All right. And this is back to the L&M chat. Bunker Pie asks, does she have any knowledge of any ETs that resemble Asian-looking beings, and are they benevolent?
Not personally, no. I don't have knowledge on that. I'm a clairaudient, which means I hear them. I get questions a lot. What did so-and-so look like? What did they look like? I don't see. I hear beyond the veil. So if there's a message, like, I can hear it, but I don't know about how they look. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's see. We've got another one here. What can she recall about her life as an ET, such as how old was her ET body, and could she describe her planet, or even what she looked like as an ET? I'll add that last part in there.
Okay, fine. What I recall is being a child in Arcturus. I was just a child. I was with a lot of children, and all of us were being educated and taught by more senior members of the society. And they basically, what they did is they put my body into a stasis pod, which means they put my body there to sleep, and they took out a large amount of my essence, and they incarnated it to here. And they incarnated it to here. This happens, I've heard several other walk-ons say that this is their memory as well.
All right, so when the body you have now passes away, I assume it's going to at some point, where exactly do you go? Do you go back to your planet and report, kind of like a Mork and Mindy type thing, or what happens there?
Yes, absolutely. Correct.
Really? Okay. And who do you report to?
I report to the entire society.
The entire society. Are they here outside of bodies too? I mean, are they here in ships? We get a lot of UFO sightings, and I've seen big, huge mothership myself, and I'm wondering who are they? Are we talking about different varieties of ETs? Because you sound like you're a spiritual type. Otherwise, you kind of are able to, well, I don't know, transform, like. I mean, because, yeah, what happened to your ET body? Did you even have one?
Yes. I mean, that's a little confusing because
it is.
I believe a lot of the ETs are not able to physically come down because of the conditions on our planet don't work with their physical forms, and they also don't occupy physical forms 100% of the time. They don't need them, so they're in energetic forms, and they will visit through, like, the next dimension. So, like, it's interdimensional travel, I believe. A lot of it is. I don't know that much about the physical travel. I know there are some beings who do that, but
all right,
I don't know that much about it.
Hey, fair enough. You probably know more than I do. All right, Tomato Picker. He asked, are the Arcturians at war now, and with who, and is the planet Earth in a galactic war?
The Arcturians are not at war, no. We're very peaceful people. And is there a galactic war?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Not that I've been informed of. I think the thing that humans need to start understanding is, although there are timelines where negative things are happening, negative DTs are there, people are getting possessed, or the government is wiping us all out, those timelines are starting to be canceled away because of the light workers and because of the starseeds and because of the raising of the consciousness. We don't have to go in that direction.
All right, and I got that was a pretty good question too, because I don't know if you've ever seen this, and if not, you might want to take a look and on YouTube, which I don't recommend for too much stuff, but I'll recommend it here, where I have seen video of people who use night vision on telescopes or however they're doing it, but it's night vision, and you can see the video that they're taking, that there's objects deep within space above us. And you could see some of them actually shooting at each other is what it looks like. And at this point, for all we know, it could be Earthlings who are doing that because, they're the U.S. already, we know they have weapons and things in space. And so maybe that's what we're seeing. But I guess that's why he would ask if we're at war, because it would seem to me that whoever's in charge on this planet right now, it's almost like they're not human, because why would any human poison the air they have to breathe, poison the water they have to drink, and genetically modify the food that they have to eat? That sounds like everything's being prepared for somebody else.
They're just trying their best to keep us asleep. They are trying to keep us asleep. They'll do anything to distract us from being evolved. They don't want us to evolve.
No, they don't. But is ET of any kind, any race of extraterrestrial, even the reptilians? I hear they got a bad rep. Those guys. Are any of them involved within any governments on this planet right now? Is that a problem in any sense?
I don't know, and I don't feel qualified to speak on it. The Natal Soul who was here did more research on that, and she knew, but I don't have those memories, and I focus on my own personal difference I can make and what I can do.
All right, and I think the question has come up again. JH asked, what planet was her ET from? And you said that you're not familiar with that information. Is that correct?
Right, I just know it's Arcturian. I'm not very good at geography of the star systems.
Arcturian. So how do you feel? I mean, what made you? Do you know what made you want to even be here? Because this planet seems like it's on its last song on the album. It seems like the record's coming to an end here, in some sense. I don't mean completely, but it's really doesn't seem like, I don't know. Let's just say there's better playgrounds to bring your kids to, I would imagine, somewhere in the universe.
It's definitely a mission that is respected around the universe if you choose to go into Earth's system. For every human is respected for the work they're doing here. We can't give up on Earth. So we just gotta keep trying and try to raise the consciousness and let the old systems fall away. I don't know if you're familiar with astrology, but in astrology the point of view is that we're continuously moving forward, and the outer planets are symbolic of changes in the collective consciousness. So it is changing, and we are progressing. Right now with Pluto and Capricorn, the worst of the worst of what's going on is in like the people who are the higher ups, the president, and it all has to be weeded out, and all the falsehoods have to come out, and all the lies. So sometimes just before there is light, there is a lot of muck, and it seems like everything's very bad, but then you move forward.
All right. Sorry about that. I was bringing in a caller, and it kind of got a little loud there. I apologize. We've got Mario, and Mario, you're live on Late Night in the Midlands, and yeah, okay, sounds better now. Well, welcome aboard.
Michael, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you, Michael. Marie, I got a question for you. Do you know what the Arcturians look like?
This is like linear information I've been given, is that they're blue beings. I do believe they're blue beings, and they're rather small.
Have you been able to take Kurlinian? I hope I'm saying that right. photography?
I'm familiar with the term, but no.
Okay.
Kirkland photography is a photo of the aura.
Correct. Have you had one taken of you, Marie, though?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marie. Michael, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mario. I appreciate the call. And any more questions, folks, you're welcome to call in. The number's on the website. I'm not going to keep giving it out. You can also call in using Skype. We have a Skype ID, Late Night in the Midlands, real easy. And you can join us in our chat room, and you could private message me your questions as well. We had gotten through a whole bunch of them. So some call-ins, very welcome if you want to call in. And what I'd like to do, Marie, is give you the floor. And we got about another 15 minutes, so take your time. And go ahead and get out anything that you like. Your website. We're going to definitely have to have you back, too, because it's not every night I get to talk to an extraterrestrial walk-in. And who knows, this might put me on the map.
Absolutely. I'd come back as often as you want. I really enjoyed our conversation. So the best place to contact me at email-wise would be mariearcturus@gmail.com. So that's MARIE and Arcturus, ARCTURUS @gmail.com. You can email questions there. My blog, if you want to basically read what has been my journal, has been a record of everything that's happened the past over 6 months, which is another good way for you doubters out there who want to get inside my head how this happened and how it began. You can scroll back to my earliest entries and I tell you everything. It's walkinhumor.wordpress.com. It's all one word, walkinhumor. I started this blog as a joke because I thought it was funny that I had just gotten on the plan and I thought I'm going to make comics or something for walk-ins, and it ended up being like a very serious record of what was happening to me. And if anyone is also interested in the business end of it, I do sessions, I do channelings, and I do Reiki. That's both here at my home in Brick, New Jersey, or that's long distance. You can go to facebook.com/Fairyhandra. That's FAIRYHANDRA. Fairyhandra. That's my business page.
All right, great. We've got you linked up on the homepage of LateNightInTheMidlands.com, too. We're going to keep you linked up there, and we're going to put you back up there again for Saturday night, because on Saturday night, this show will run on Art Bell and Keith Rowland's Dark Matter Radio Network. I think it's very fitting for the Dark Matter audience, and I want to give them a chance to win the subscriptions as well. And you'll probably hear from a lot of people by the end of this week, I'm sure. Speaking of hearing from people, giving out this, I don't know how many radio shows or TV shows or what have you might have done by now. Is this you've been on many or
no?
No? Oh, okay. Are we the first?
You are.
Ah, how about that? We're the first. All right. So then you wouldn't have
I'd
been.
like to do more.
You wouldn't have had anybody tell you to be quiet and stop talking about this then yet.
Nope. I mean, nope. I guess I haven't had anyone tell me not to talk about it yet. I am not really worried about it because I'm just telling my experience. You know, I don't go out there and say, like, I don't do anything that puts anyone else in danger other than sharing my story.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I've absolutely enjoyed this. Maybe next time we get you back, even if we have to do a little pre-recording just to play for the listeners, maybe do some channeling. And I know I'm getting all my highly religious people, their hair sticking up on ends right now, but do a little channeling, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could try to channel somebody or something out there.
Yeah, the best way to do channeling with me is written. I'm very good at writing channel. I do direct voice channeling, although I'd be a little intimidated to do that on the radio.
I could understand that. So, hey, if you want to do it, privately. And how about this? How about we do this, and and maybe I'll submit it to you on Sunday, and we'll plan for another show. And here's what I'll do. I'll leave it open to the L&M listeners right now and the Dark Matter listeners Saturday night. You all can write in your questions, write in what you would like her to find out, and she'll do the best she can, right? And what you could do is maybe either write it down or record on your own time, and then we'll have you back on the show, and we'll either read it or play it.
That's a great idea. I would like to do it like that.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Marie, thank you so much for being a guest here tonight. I'm looking forward to doing this again, and I will be in contact with you at the end of the week. And keep doing what you're doing, and thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you again. All right, folks, there you have it. I interviewed an extraterrestrial, and this was her first stop. Now, you might say, oh, this idiot, well, then that means that you're just grumpy old grump or you're jealous. I'm just, hey, I had a lot of fun with tonight's show, and plus, who knows, folks? I may have been speaking to a genuine extraterrestrial tonight, and might be the first one in radio to have ever done that, as far as I know. I don't know. Ira's going to be calling back in a moment, and here's why. We want to give away a subscription. See, because it's not all about the money. So, Ira, we're going to give away a subscription here tonight. We're also going to give away a subscription Saturday night, I've decided, for the Dark Matter audience as well. And here's something else, Ira. We are going to ask people to please write into me your questions or what you would like her to ask the extraterrestrials, and I will have her back on the show. She will do the channeling. We'll get you some answers maybe. So even if you don't believe, but you want to give it a shot, that's quite all right with me. MVM, that's MV, as in Michael Vera, at latenightinthemidlands.com. Ira, who do we got? We got a winner tonight? And so what's the deal?
Well, let's see. We have a couple that came in with really good answers. A couple of them were really good. Let's see. Bunker said that he thinks that it was an orb fleet, perhaps recently launched from a cloaked mothership.
Hiding behind the clouds, maybe.
Yep, that's a big possibility. We had Mater said that it looked like a UFO tread marks.
UFO tread. Okay. I'm a little slow. It's getting late.
Bear said that it looked like chemtrails or contrails, and Toxic Burn said that it looked like it was either something photoshopped or perhaps it was a contrail or chemtrail leaving behind from military exercises.
All right, so then why don't we do this? How do you want to do this? Want to leave this up to the chat room to decide, or should we give away? That would be good. Or should we give away two tonight? I'm going to leave it in your court. What should we do?
Let's see. Well, we can do the two. How about we do the two tonight?
All right. So
those are both really good answers. I liked them.
All right, great. So which two? Are we going to get a vote in the chat room? Is that it?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So let's do this, folks. Vote. Tell them what they're voting on, Ira.
You are voting on if the picture is either a picture of orbs that perhaps have come out like an orb UFO fleet, perhaps coming out of a cloaked mothership, or if it is a contrail or chemtrail sort of a situation. Either one.
All right, and again, whoever wins, I mean, it's senseless if they're already a late nighter. So.
Yeah.
it's good to get people who are not late nighters so they could come in and see what they've been missing. Right?
Indeed.
All right. So all right. So what's everybody saying? We've got to do this soon, folks. So who do we got? Who's winning? If they don't pick, we'll pick.
So far, Mater's trademarks have gotten the vote.
Well, I like the idea of a fleet of orbs. I like that. So I guess
I do too.
All right, but is Mater, is he already a late nighter?
Well, we're also getting a lot of them saying the chemtrails as well. So Mater is not yet. No.
All right. Well, he is now. All right. So we'll give him one. All right. So he's got 3 months coming to him. And who else?
Let's see. The chemtrail was the second, so it looks like it would be toxic burn.
Toxic burn. All right, then we'll give it to toxic burn. And folks, we're going to do this frequently because we love our audience. We want to give as many people a chance to win. What we really want to do is help those who really can't afford to subscribe. So that's what we try to do, but that's not, a necessity. It doesn't have to be that way. But, all right, so 3 months for Mater and 3 months for toxic burn. Hopefully that'll cure the toxic burn.
Indeed.
All right, and we're going to give away 2 more Saturday night, which for you, Dark Matter, that's tonight. We're going to give away 2 to you as well. You've got to email me, mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. Ira, we've got a few more minutes left. And here's what I want to ask you. What did you think about tonight? I tell you, I'm ready to go outside tonight and smoke a cigar and look at the stars.
Well, it's pretty interesting. Actually, while the show was going on, Surfer experienced a UFO. He had a UFO experience tonight, and we ran outside. Our family ran outside trying to see if we could see the UFO because it started heading in our direction. And apparently, we got out there not in time to see it, so we missed it. But definitely an interesting show, and I'm with her probably at least 80 to 85%. There was a couple of things I kind of maybe had a little bit of difficulty with, but overall, she was definitely really good, and I definitely enjoyed talking to her myself. And she definitely had the answers to the questions that were being asked, so that's always a good sign, you know?
And she wasn't a scary-looking extraterrestrial. If you look at the homepage, how could you be afraid of that?
She's definitely pretty.
Yeah, so, I mean, if that's E.T.,
bring it on. Hello, E.T.
Open the gates. Open the gates. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I just don't want to see the praying mantis type, That would be a little frightening for me. But based on tonight, I'm all for E.T. I welcome the extraterrestrials. See, they're not all gray.
I don't think there's anything really to be afraid of as much as what people try to say as far as extraterrestrials are concerned. It's a matter of balance, I think, in everything. There's goods out there, there's bads out there, just like there is with us human beings. So.
Yep, it's like a can of mixed nuts, a little bit of everything in there. It's like the guy says, Mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what kind you're going to get or something like that. So
Yes,
what you're going to get. Well, tonight we got to, because folks, I had no idea going into this that I was going to be speaking with an extraterrestrial walk-in. I thought going into this tonight that I was speaking to somebody who was not somebody who had taken over another body. That's as far as see, there was no preparation. I didn't have producers putting all this together for me. We didn't talk on the phone beforehand. Tonight is the first time I have spoke to her, the first time I've heard her voice. That's how I roll over here. Nobody does it. Why bother doing a show if you're not interested enough to take out time to explore? And boy, did we explore tonight with this guest. And I had a ball. I can't wait to get outside. I really can't. I'm looking forward to just going out, taking a peek. I'm gonna deal with the 100 degrees because I know ET is nearby, and I'm good with that. So
indeed.
All right, so we got a couple winners tonight, and folks, Dark Matter folks, please call in, or not call in, but don't call in because this is recorded for you. But email me at mv@latenightinthemidlands.com. Let me know what the picture. It's a sky picture on the homepage in the picture slider. And you'll see the sky pic, and you'll see it circled in yellow, what I'm talking about. What is it? Saturday night, going to give you a subscription. A couple of them we're going to give away Saturday night. So, Ira, thank you. What a show. What a night.
It was awesome, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you for all you do, my friend.
You bet. Have a great night.
All right, you too. And by the way, Ryan Gable, he had a UFO sighting as well. And Ryan, I'm not avoiding you, my friend. I've not had a moment to get to you, but I want to have set up to have Ryan come on for some amount of time this week and tell us about his UFO sighting as well. Because, folks, I've been following these stories, these UFO stories, a lot closer. I've always followed them, but a lot closer lately. And I'm looking at a lot of these mass sightings, and we're seeing more and more and more of them. So I don't know what that means. Maybe you do. I do want to say this. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. What a fantastic night. Lots of questions. That's what I like to see here when we're doing these shows. So tomorrow night we're talking with Dr. Mary Lou McIntyre. Dr. Mary Lou McIntyre reaches into the Akashic records, and she will tell you about those past lives. So maybe you were an ET in a past life. You might find out tomorrow night, but you have to call in to do it. All right? So who knows? We might even give something away again tomorrow night. This is easier giving away subscriptions than it is books. It's like people don't want to read no more, it seems. I've got a library of books from guests over the years. I've tried. They give me extras to give away, but we'll set something up like that too eventually. With that, folks, one hell of a night tonight. I thank you all for listening on the LNM Radio Network. Thank you, everybody listening on the Dark Matter Radio Network. We appreciate everything you do over there, Art Bell and Keith Rowland. High Point Radio, the top of New Jersey, 100.5 FM, 1700 AM, covering New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. K98 Talk, thank you to all of you who listen from there. Our new affiliate, just added to the mix, SHR Media and Pundit Press Radio, folks. So we'll just keep it growing, and we'll keep thanking you for getting us across your airwaves. So once again, folks, question everything. What a night. I didn't make love to an alien last night, but hey, I spoke to one tonight. So with that, folks, keep your eyes posted to the sky, because you never know what you might see. Keep your ears posted to this broadcast, because you never know what you might learn. Thank you to Ira, our program director and station manager, and of course, the webmaster, Jolene. Good night, everybody.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.